Hey, what's up everybody? This is Keith. You're watching Barber's Auto Help. In today's video, I'm going to be changing out the radiator fan assembly on my 07 Ford Edge equipped with a 3.5 liter. Now, while this is an 07 Ford Edge with 3.5 liter, this information in part or in whole will be applicable to the Ford Edge for a few years. I'm not sure what the year swath is on it, but always verify and make sure any and all of this information is applicable to whatever you're working on. Now, to start out with, we're going to make sure that the vehicle is in park and that the vehicle shut off. We're also going to apply the parking brake, and we're going to allow this thing to cool down for at least 2 hours before we get into this thing. You never want to work around the cooling system whenever the vehicle is hot. Ideally, if you can let it sit overnight to cool down, that's better. I would also suggest disconnecting and isolating the negative battery clamp from the battery. Now we're going to open up the radiator cap, but before we do that, we're going to take and grab a hold of the upper radiator hose and give it a light squeeze. It should not have any pressure on the cooling system, and it should be cool to the touch. If it's not, let the vehicle sit for longer. Next, we're going to open up the radiator cap. Oops, I made a bit of a mistake there. That's actually the coolant reservoir cap. It seems I made the same mistake during the rest of the video. So whenever I say radiator cap, I mean coolant reservoir cap, excuse me. Next, we're going to open up the radiator cap, but we're going to use caution while we're doing this. We're going to apply a rag over the top of that radiator cap, and we're going to open up that cap very slowly and cautiously, allowing the pressure to be relieved from the system. There could still be pressure in the system even though you did let it cool down long enough. Once you got the cap off, you're now ready to drain the radiator. Now, you don't necessarily have to drain the cooling system to do this job. I like to remove the upper radiator hose from the radiator to do this job because it opens it up a little bit more. It just makes it easier for me. Also, whenever you're doing this job, it's probably a good chance that the coolant hasn't been flushed out in some time. So it may be time to change out your coolant. So I'm going to go ahead and show you this way, and I'll discuss a little bit more later on how you can do this without having to disconnect the radiator hose. But let's go ahead and move forward. Now we're going to be draining the radiator from the petcock. The petcock is just underneath the lower radiator hose on the driver's side of the radiator right here. And it has a 3/4 inch head on it, so you could use a 3/4 inch socket or wrench on this to loosen it up. And it's lefty-loosey to loosen it. Once it's loosened up enough, the coolant will then start to drain out the bottom of the radiator. Now, in many cases, you can get to this petcock without having to lift the vehicle. However, if it's hard for you to get to this area here, you may have to jack up the front end of the vehicle. And if you do so, you want to make sure that you use the manufacturer's instructions for properly lifting and supporting your vehicle. Information on how to do that properly is not provided in this video. Now, when you're draining your radiator, you of course want to make sure you got a bucket or something underneath the vehicle to catch that coolant and keep the coolant away from your pets at all costs, because coolant is toxic and can kill your pets. Now, once your radiator is drained, you're ready to start tearing into this thing. Now I'm going to go ahead and take the air box out to give myself a little bit more room. We'll start by disconnecting the mass airflow sensor. There's a red lock tang underneath. I'm going to grab it with my fingernails and pull back on it like so. And then there's a lock tab we have to push in on and pull out, and that releases the connector for the mass airflow sensor. This is that lock tab I was pushing on right here, and that will unlock it, and then you can pull straight out on it. Now, usually this is taped to this little Christmas tree rivet right here. This just pops right up if you need to take that off. Mine isn't taped anymore. So then we're going to loosen this hose clamp right here. It has a bolt head on it. It's an 8mm. We're going to go lefty-loosey on it to loosen it up. All right, once we got it loose, we'll go ahead and unlock the upper part of the air filter housing from the lower part. We'll separate the air duct from the air filter housing like so, and then we'll slide the upper part of the air filter housing out of the way. Now right here, we have an 8mm bolt. We're going to go ahead and actually, the head on it's 8mm. We're going to go ahead and loosen that up. Set that off to the side. Now, once that's loosened, you can take the housing and just pull straight up on it. Like that. Just take that out of the way like so. Now, we need to go ahead and get this harness out of the way here. And it's held on by several Christmas tree rivets that are taped to the harness. One right here, 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 and here. And what we're going to do is take our hands and just right where that rivet is, just take and pull straight up on the harness to disconnect it from the fan shroud assembly. And there's also this little clamp right here on the harness that you'll want to remove as well. Just kind of put your screwdriver in between there and kind of twist it like that. And that will give you a little bit more flexibility with this harness here. All right, so next we need to disconnect our upper radiator hose from the radiator, and it's held on by that spring clamp right there. And we're just going to use a standard set of pliers to take that hose clamp loose and move the hose clamp back, and then we'll remove the hose. We're just going to go in here with our pliers and we're going to squeeze that hose clamp together. All right, we got it loose. Trying to position it back. Like that right there. Just pull that straight up. See how I got those pliers on there? I just squeeze those two ears of the spring clamp together, and that loosens it up. I'll just leave my pliers attached to it. These are actually vice grip pliers that I'm using, so they kind of lock into place there. Now once you got your radiator hose loosened from the radiator, go ahead and tuck it right behind this little eyelet right here, and that'll kind of hold it out of the way. Take note of how I've got the wire harness tucked behind the radiator hose. Now you may not have to do this, but I'm going to go ahead and remove the dipstick just to give a little bit more clearance for that fan assembly to come through. Okay, now we need to disconnect the radiator fan module from the electrical connector here, or the harness. And there's a little lock tang you got to press in right here. I'm pressing it with my thumb, press in on it, pull out on the connector like so. Now it does appear that I'm missing a part of my electrical connector here. There's a little lock that goes over the top of these connectors inside there that lock the connectors or the pins inside the connector. I'm going to need another connector. Now at this point here, we're almost home free to get this thing out, but we've got two bolts that hold this radiator fan assembly into the or onto the radiator. It has an 8mm head on it on the driver's side right here, and then on the passenger side we have another right there. Set that off to the side. Set that off to the side. Okay, now we're going to attempt to work this thing up and out. Pull up on it. And just kind of work it out. If you kind of tilt it this way, I think it helps a little bit. Now, something else I'd like to point out really quickly here on the back side of this radiator fan assembly, this would be on the driver's side, kind of down low. You see this little receptacle right here? If your vehicle is equipped with an engine oil cooler, you may have a bracket that is attached to this, and I think it has a 10mm bolt that holds it on. You'll need to remove that and get that out of the way before you take this fan shroud out. Now theoretically, you can take this fan shroud out without draining the cooling system, like as mentioned earlier, and it's done in much the same way that you saw me do it. It's just a little bit more tight, and it's kind of hard to get it past that upper radiator hose there. I like to remove the upper radiator hose because it gives you better access to that one bolt that holds the fan shroud to the radiator right there, and it just kind of pushes everything out of the way. Just comes out really easy. Like I said, if you're doing your fans, it's probably time for a coolant flush anyway if you haven't had it done, if you haven't been keeping up with your scheduled maintenance and whatnot. So draining the cooling system and knocking out a coolant flush while you're at it, it's just a bonus for you. So a couple things I want to bring your attention to. You'll notice on the sides of your new radiator fan assembly, you have these blades, and those blades go into receptacles on either side of the radiator. Now before you put this radiator fan assembly in, check the fins of your radiator. Make sure that your radiator core is not damaged in any way, and just inspect it overall. Make sure that there's no issues with it, such as leaks or anything like that, because if there is, now's the time to go ahead and address that. Now if that all checks out, let's go ahead and put our radiator fan assembly in. Okay, let's go ahead and work our new radiator fan assembly in. We're going to tilt it in just like that and kind of work it up underneath that harness and between the radiator and the radiator hose there. Kind of be patient and be gentle. Now, once you got it in place, you want to make sure that those blades on either side go into those receptacles on either side of the radiator. Just kind of slide it into place. Now, while you're doing that, you got these hooks up here that actually hook onto the top of the radiator as well. So be aware of that. You want to make sure that those lock in as well. I can feel that that one is hooked in. Also, that one is hooked in as well. And also the hooks that are on top of the radiator fan assembly are latched over the top of the radiator core as well, and down there as well too. All right, let's go ahead and put our bolts in that hold the shroud to the radiator. We're going to start them out by hand, get them started real good. That way we don't run the risk of cross-threading anything. Now, word of caution to you guys, you want to make sure that you take and use the same bolts that came out, put those same bolts back in, because if you put a bolt that's too long in those places, you can actually poke a hole in your radiator. You don't want to do that. Like, for instance, this bolt that goes to the bracket that goes to the air filter housing, this would probably actually fit in there and thread up quite nicely, but it's rather long and it'll poke a hole in your radiator side tank there. So don't do that, okay? I'm not saying I've done that before, but you know, go ahead and gently run them down and torque them down. I don't know what the spec is on these, but it's probably not too terribly tight. All right, let's go ahead and put our upper radiator hose back on. Make sure that it's seated all the way down to the stop on that neck there. Take your pliers and position that hose clamp in place. And ideally, you want to get that hose clamp exactly back in the same position it was in before. All right, let's put our wire loom back into place here. You got those Christmas tree rivets. They go down in those receptacles all along the top of the core support there. And the radiator fan shroud, of course. Put this little clip back on here. Snap it back into place there. And this one came loose on mine. I'm gonna reconnect it and put it back into place too.
Don't forget to also reconnect your cooling fan control module electrically. I did this off camera. Be sure the connector snaps into place and is locked in.
Be sure that you got your radiator hose positioned in the right spot on the fan shroud there. And let's go ahead and reinsert our oil dipstick. All right, let's go ahead and reinstall our air filter housing. Now you'll notice on the bottom side of this air filter housing, you have these two cleats, and those two cleats go into the two receptacles down there on that bracket. Let's go ahead and put it into place and position those cleats over those receptacles and push down like that. We're locked into place there. We'll go ahead and reinstall our bracket bolt here. Be sure that your snorkel goes on that receptacle properly. Let's put our air filter back in. Now be careful guys, make sure you don't get any dirt or debris on top of your air filter, because that could potentially contaminate your mass airflow sensor in there. Go ahead and take the top half of your air filter housing. There's these little blades that go in these receptacles right here. Place them into the receptacles. Put the housing down, put the hose on, make sure that the housing fits in securely, clamp it into place. Go ahead and reconnect your mass airflow sensor. Now when you push this on, make sure it clicks into place, give it a tug, make sure it's locked in securely, and then push in the red lock after you're done, like so. Go ahead and tighten up the hose clamp on the tube here. And then of course, if you drained your radiator, you want to go ahead and tighten up your petcock at this time. Now that petcock, you can break it. You just want to tighten it up until it's just snug. I don't have a torque spec for you and I can't really quantify what just snug is, but if you over torque it, you can break and damage it, and you'll need to vacuum fill the cooling system. I'm going to link a video down in the description of this video to a video showing you how to do a vacuum fill. Of course, you want to make sure you put the correct concentration and the correct coolant inside the cooling system. You don't want to put the wrong stuff in there. I would also recommend doing a cooling system pressure test to ensure you don't have any leaks afterwards. You want to check particularly this upper radiator hose where you took it off the radiator, and also your petcock down there. Those would be the areas I'd be concerned about. But while you're at it, check your other components in the system, make sure they're not leaking as well.
Of course, when you're done filling and bleeding the cooling system and performing a pressure test, you want to make sure that the radiator cap is installed and tight. Tighten it down until it clicks a few times.
And then afterwards, you want to check for proper operation. Crank it up, make sure that the vehicle doesn't overheat, make sure that when you turn your AC on or whenever your engine gets up to temperature, that the cooling fan motors come on and that your vehicle is not overheating. If it is, you'll need to address that problem. And of course, before you're able to start it up and check the cooling system, you need to reconnect the negative clamp on the battery there. Your vehicle won't start without that, of course. Go figure. Well, folks, that pretty much sums up this video. If you have any questions, please comment down below. Also, please read the entire description down below this video before you attempt this or apply any of this knowledge. There may be things I need to clarify. That's where I do that. And also, please read the disclaimer at the very end of it. Thanks again. Please like and subscribe.